Why might people refer to student loans as good debt? Well, I actually enjoy debt and I enjoy credit cards. So most of us on the Millionaire Maker side of life and the philosophy of that do. We use debt, we use good debt properly, and student loan debt is cheap debt. So let's just give some definition to this. I'm going to really talk you through. So I'm going to give you some big nuggets at the end of how my son just graduated with a double bachelor's and a master's degree and has no debt. So how do you do that? Let's talk about how do you use the student loans during college as good debt. And there's three things I want to share with you. Understand just the true nature of debt. What is it? Number two, the strategic use of good debt just for wealth building and arbitraging. And why not blow your money when you can actually do the compounding power of a calculator and compound your money? Number three, why avoiding all debt is not, I'm not going to say not only a good strategy, it's never the strategy. And stay to the end and I'm going to tell you why it's okay to have some debt. Unlike you've been told in the past, they're wrong, I'm right, we're the millionaire makers, they're the stay safe in a little box people. So we are not the stay safe in a little box people. So number one, what is debt? Like student loan is a debt, right? Any kind of loan is a debt. Debt's just the cost of money. So how much do you have to pay for the money, or how much are you being paid for the money by actually being a bank to other people, which I love being a hard money lender and a provider of secured notes to other people. Right now in this economy, you can make 12, 15, 17% with those notes. So why take on student loan debt? Because it's cheap. And again, the difference between good debt and bad debt is good debt is used to build wealth. Good debt is used to actually be a money management tool. Bad debt is just because you go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Where I see bad debt being used all the time is with the NIL athletes. They go buy jewelry, they buy cars, they buy sunglasses they don't need, they buy clothes they don't need, they buy so much stuff that is all lifestyle material, no tax deduction, they're not living inside corporate life, and they're 18 years old going to college. So the majority of you are going to be 18 or older going to college, which means you're a legal adult. So can you still be a dependent of your parent? Yes, you can. So in fact, my son just came off of my dependency at the end of his master's program 6 months later, because he took an internship through Washington and then arrived and is working on his CPA licenses in a big accounting firm. Up until then, he was my dependent. Now he's his own and his own independent tax filing. But why did I do that? Stay tuned to the end. I have some massive strategies to share. Number two, let's keep going. How do you look at student loans as good debt? Well, again, the interest rate's really low. So let's just take a $50,000 tuition and say you had to borrow like all $50,000. Now, why would you later in life, say 5 years later, 10 years later, pay off that loan if it's down in the 2%, 3% range? That's cheap money. In an environment like today, where even house mortgages are 8 and 9%, 3% money is cheap. So what would you rather do with it? How do you make it good? You actually put it to work. So if you had $50,000, right, some point after you've graduated and you need to pay off that debt, don't have that be a priority. Just do a slow roll payment, pay the minimums, pay what you have to pay because it's a cheap cost of money. In the meantime, I want you to take the 50 and go put it to work. So grab a compounding calculator, just grab your phone and look up compounding calculator. And I want you to just do a math equation. Like, let's just say you have $50,000 and you contributed during your work life, because now you're out of college, you contributed an extra $200 a month. And you did that for the next 5 to 10 years. And let's just say you figured out with our help how to invest at 12%. So in your calculator, you're going to say, instead of paying my $50,000, I'm going to go put it to work. So 50,000 is your initial input. Then you're going to add 200 every month as you go get a job or become an entrepreneur, however you're going to make your money. And you learn to invest it at 12% with our help. And then you keep it in there for 10 years. Just see how much 50,000 is going to become. Now I want you to do it for 20 years. And then I want you to do it 30 years. I want you to see the compounding power of money when you actually don't blow it to just go pay off debt. Because it might feel good that you don't have that student loan debt for the next 10 years, but you also aren't growing your wealth in the next 10 years because you have no base. Earning that principal back, that $50,000, if you did have it, why would you go take and pay off student loans? I'm going to put a few other categories in there. Why would you pay off your house? For the most part, it's a very rare client of ours that would actually go pay off their house, car loans, like cheap interest loans. Why would you pay those off? The EIDL loans that the government gave out like water during the pandemic. I mean, why would any company at 3.1, 3.3% ever pay that back when it's a 30-year loan, right? Go invest it for 12, 15%, make some money inside the company. Now your company's printing money on its own. So say you get it at 3%, you invest it at 15, you're making a 12% spread. That's free money. That's printing money. See, most of you don't do it. You want to be debt free because you don't know the real core of what has to happen. You need to go learn to make money. If you knew how to make money, you would not mind carrying debt. If you knew how to flip a deal, if you knew how to arbitrage debt, you would not mind carrying any of that debt. It drives me crazy when people say, oh, if I invest in your tuition, I'm going to go into debt. No, you're not. You're buying an MBA, a massive bank account. Most of you have a massive bad attitude, not a massive bank account, because you think you're right in the formulas that are not working in your life. Well, look at the result, right? And so where do I look for my result? In your bank account? Or do you know how to make money? I want you to be able to turn on your ability to make money at any time. Now, before I give you some gold on how my son and I did it and how my daughter and I will also be doing it, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you here 5 days a week. Click that notification button. Make sure you actually watch the video every day when it comes up, and then be part of our learning group and our learning community. We have these amazing learning journals. If you haven't got one, get one. They're all designed for you to say, what video did you watch? What was the topic? What did you learn? And what are you going to do about all this learning to start changing your behavior? So for you right now, definitely take on student loan debt. During college, it's free. They're 0%. They should be. And if not, you did your applications wrong. So during college, most loans, I'd say 99%, are free. They're 0%. And then you have 6 months upon graduation to actually pay them off. Now, if you go on for a master's program, you can actually put a delay on that. So then why, when you graduate, when you're getting your first money, whether it's a job or you're starting a new company, would you spend a bunch of money to pay that off? If it's cheap money and it's 0% for a while, why ever pay it off? And the thing no one looks at far enough is a Pell Grant. A Pell Grant during college for most people is phenomenal. Now, some of you say, well, but my parents make too much money, or you're the parents say, well, I make too much money. And I would say, unless you are in certain professions where our tax teams cannot take your salaries down, then why are you paying yourself so much salary? What that tells me is you're living more lifestyle, not corporate life. So I do this program. We're doing it once a month as we head into 2024. It's called the Millionaire Intensive. I'm giving you 2 tickets. I want you to show up. If you have kids or if you're a teenager watching this, I want you to share with everybody. If you're an NIL athlete, you need to be at that event because you are 18 years old. You need to be living corporate life, and NIL money is to you. You are a brand that needs to make money and now has a legal right to do deductions. Otherwise, you're going to pay tax forever. So if you burn a bunch of cash early just to pay down debt, now you have to rebuild the principal. I can guarantee you it's harder to actually make a huge lump sum of principal than it is to just slow roll paying debt. If it takes you 10 or 20 years, who cares? It's cheap money. In the meantime, you're making money with your money. And actually, for some of you who learn this arbitrage, become your own bank, you're printing money. And you all should learn to do that. So if you want a strategy session, call our office, click on the link below, talk to our team and say, I want Loral to teach us how to live in this debt arbitrage and feel good about it. See, a lot of you have such horrible psychology around debt. The thought of having debt just makes you sick. The thought of having good debt makes me excited because that means printing free money. So I want you here every day, again, 5 days a week. At any point, if you have questions, go to askloral.com. Learn to make money at our marketplace. We give you opportunities every week to be in our world and teach you to make money. That is the key and answer to all of your financial problems. How do you get your kid through school? Make sure you call our office. I'd love to tell you how I did it. Talk to you tomorrow.